After a week's worth of announcements, we finally have an idea of what's coming out in the back half of the year. Up until recently, the only thing I could think of that was coming out was Metaphor, which got me thinking about something that both PlayStation and Jeff Keighley said at separate points throughout the year. Is this an off year for the industry? These three showcases provided an answer for that question. And let's start with the one that led the charge. Earlier in the year, Sony said that they have no major franchise games coming out until after April 2025. Considering how important IPs are in this industry, a lot of people took that as PlayStation having no games coming out until next year. But that always felt so weird to me, considering that they started the year with Helldivers 2, a very well-received multiplayer game, and Stellar Blade, a very well-received action game. They may not be first-party games or a major franchise, but Helldivers 2 starts up with the PS Studios logo. But that quote makes me think that they don't value those games, and that I should see everything they announce for the rest of the year as lesser. I think it's very obvious that PlayStation cares more about live service games or massive AAA games than they do smaller AA games. And you need those smaller single-player games to fill up a show like this, and I'm now just realizing I think that was my complaint about the last State of Play. I really hope that means next year isn't going to be a drought for first-party PlayStation. It's been an overarching issue with State of Plays. At the time of recording, it's almost been a week since the State of Play aired, and I honestly don't remember that much about it, which is why I take notes during these shows. Looking through those notes for a video where I have 2 other shows to cover, there's only like 2 games I want to talk about. That's a horrible hit rate. And to be fair, the only reason why it isn't 3 is because I don't care about Monster Hunter. If I talked about that series at every single event they show up at, I would be talking about it 5 times a year. I'm done. This is the last time I'm bringing up Monster Hunter on this channel. Even then though, there's only 1 game from this State of Play that I slightly care about. The only reason why I'm talking about 2 is because I want to rant about Concord, the game they led with. PlayStation wants to make more live service games. I guess those are replacing the smaller AA games I want them to make. While Helldivers 2 hit, I don't think this one will. In fact, I don't think most of them will. I bet Helldivers 2 is going to be the only one that has a healthy life. Watching the Concord gameplay trailer did nothing for me, as somebody who likes Overwatch. It looked so soulless. There's nothing about this game that tells me it will be good. What really solidified that for me was something before we even saw gameplay. The dialogue in the CG trailer was awful. The textbook definition of Marvel dialogue. It's not them copying the MCU's joke flow that really rubs me the wrong way. It's why they're doing it. It's the most basic safe humor that you add to make your thing seem fun so you can maximize profits. I know games exist to make a profit, but you can tell when profit is the only motivator for making creative decisions in a game. And when I look at Concord, that is all I see. It's like what Arlo said about this game. It's slop. That being what they opened the show with is so funny when you compare it to what they closed the show with. Astrobot, baby. This is what I want PlayStation to make. Literally just give me more games like this. When you look at this game, you can tell that it has soul, that it does have some life in it that isn't cheap MCU slop. The trailer looked fun. It felt like it showed the whole game, but there's a lot of levels in it, so I feel like there were more surprises around the corner. There's a reason why after the State of Play, everybody was hyping up Astrobot and shitting on Concord. The design of everything looked like they were made to be fun. It's coming out in September, and I am getting it day 1. I am putting my money where my mouth is. And if you want more fun platformers like PlayStation used to make, please buy this game. If this does well, I foresee a wave of fun AA games that people want to play. If it bombs, expect more soulless monetary black holes like Concord. At the off chance that this game is actually good, play this clip beside me saying how great it is. Doubt that's happening though. I guess Astrobot doesn't count as a major franchise if that's coming out this year. Really shows how positively PlayStation views games that don't cost way too much to make. I really hope this year is a turning point for PlayStation. After laying off so many people, spending way too much on Bungie, and people realizing that the Wii fucking you has more exclusives than PS5, we get more single-player AA games to fill out their catalog like Astrobot. No joke, if this game flops or is bad, I will be distraught. So the state of play was a thing that I watched with my eyes. So how did Jeff Keighley do at Summer Game Fest? Because, whoo boy, I would like a win right now.
Oh yeah, I see lots of people keep asking about Kingdom Hearts. I don't know why. People are setting themselves up for failure, but it's you guys can keep hoping.
Oh boy, I don't think I got a win right now. Going into the show, Jeff Keighley said that people need to lower their expectations. That's a great sign right there. And KH4 isn't going to be at the show, which caused some KH fans to have an absolute meltdown. And one of those fans may be one of the biggest voices in the community. As a big Kingdom Hearts fan, this was embarrassing to see. Come on, guys. Well, how did the show turn out? It was better than the state of play, which isn't really that hard to do. It was fine. It opened with Lego Horizon. I don't know why Sony doesn't consider it a major franchise game. I'm assuming because it didn't cost more than any Spider-Man movie to make. I also don't know why it exists. Is Horizon really this popular? Most people I've seen online talk about this series call it an industry plant, but that could just be the side of the internet that I'm on. Hell, I want PlayStation to make more smaller games like this, so I guess I can't complain too much. I was just hoping they would be new or smaller IPs. Apparently the new Arkham game got a massive sigh from the audience when it was revealed to be a VR game. That is really funny to me. Metaphor is still looking good. Honestly, I don't want to see more of this game because I will be there no matter what. The new Street Fighter 6 DLC slaps. That's just a solid cast of returning and crossover characters. Blumhouse is publishing games for some reason. Those low poly and 16-bit horror games looked pretty solid. I will be keeping an eye out for those. And somehow that wasn't the only publishing related announcement. I think an indie team who accidentally made $1 billion off of a $5 budget, using that profit to fund smaller teams is exactly what the industry needs right now. I think this will lead to a massive wave of banger indie games. Good job, Among Us. Killer Bean looks dope. If you don't like this game, I think you just hate fun. The only thing that worries me about it is that it is a roguelike. I've never really meshed with that genre personally. This whole thing looks like John Wick if it was a post and everybody was a bean for no reason. I have a feeling this game is going to have a massive amount of player expression, which is always a good thing. Apparently it's based off of a movie. I don't think I've ever seen this series before, but I saw a clip on Twitter, and as someone who loves cheesy 80s action movies, yeah, I'm down. The highlight of the show for me was the Alan Wake 2 news. I knew it was going to be there and that it was likely that they were going to shadow drop the DLC, but it didn't change my excitement for it. It feels weird talking about what they announced because I already finished the DLC. I've already started brainstorming a video about the DLC. How am I supposed to sit here and talk about it like it's something that's coming out soon? I'm excited to make that new Alan Wake video just so I can get all of this off of my kitchen wall. Scooped up the collector's edition. Can't wait for that to arrive in like a year and a half at least. Gotta love ordering big collector's editions from Limited Run. It's weird because I would have way more to say about this DLC in this video if I hadn't already played it. This show was fine. It really matched Jeff Keighley's description of it. I got the one thing that I was expecting and some things that seem kind of cool. Yeah, 2024 looks like it's going to be a slow year, excluding the absolutely wild start we had. Only one more press conference to go and we were expecting it to be the worst one, right? So I had no hope for the Xbox showcase whatsoever. Even if there was one cool game there, I'm not expecting that studio to be open after they release it. I cared so little about this, I didn't even care that I was going to miss the showcase. And then it was apparently the best one by far, not even close. Xbox killed it. After the show, I did see some stuff on Twitter that looked cool. Do you know what? Yeah, I was still impressed even after all of the hype surrounding it. That was a good showcase. Still worried Microsoft is going to close down more studios though. The show opened with COD. Never been a COD guy, so this did nothing for me. But I have noticed a lot of people are excited about this because it has the Black Ops name. So good job, marketing boys. People are less excited for the file size. Jesus, that is one big boy. After COD was Doom, The Dark Ages. something I've been waiting for. I'm a big fan of the modern Doom games, and given the time between 2016 and Eternal, a new Doom game was bound to come out soon, and yep, this looks like more modern Doom. I'm alright with this. The melee attacks looked a little weird though. I don't know what it is. I think the impact on them doesn't seem crunchy enough. Shield looks fun though, and I'm happy we finally get to pilot that big ass mech. I always wondered why it wasn't a thing in Eternal. Although, no matter how excited I am for this game, and no matter how good it is going to sound wrong. Unless Id and Mick Gordon become friends again, because without him, a huge aspect of modern Doom is gone. It's coming out in 2025, which is proof that games are taking longer to make, or it's coming out later because of the story DLC. Dragon Age is a series I don't really care for, but considering BioWare's 2 previous games, Veilguard is very important. This could be their final chance, so don't mess it up, please. I want the new Mass Effect game to be good and to happen. Because I was watching this event after the fact, I skipped Fallout 76, especially because Expedition 33 was next. I saw that people were super excited for this game on Twitter after the show, and you know what? That looks like it can be a really good turn-based RPG. It wasn't the longest trailer, but the little that they showed us got me excited. I think it's because when I look at this game, I see something that can absolutely explode in popularity. Give me more solid AA games. Should be the subtitle for this video. Ben Starr is in it. I will be there. I love the Mario RPG / Legend of Dragoon timing. I've always felt like it was a smart thing to add to your turn-based combat and have always been very confused why nobody else does it. Most of South of Midnight's impact was the animation in the cutscenes. I think I'm just super thirsty for games to do anything with their art styles nowadays. Speaking of not doing anything with the art style, Snake Eater Remake. Bring back the piss filter, you cowards. The game does look super cool though. Looks like we're going to get a wide variety of stealth options in it. Much like with the new Dragon Age game, this is going to be a real tone setter for the series. It's the first Kojima-less Metal Gear. I do not count that glorified asset flip, so if they can pull it off without him, I would be down for a 6th game, but if they can't, it's going to be real interesting to see this remake fall apart. As someone with no horse in this race, it's going to be fun to watch. I saw online that cuts that Snake get will like slowly heal or scar over the course of the game, and that is amazing. Keeping this stealth theme going, Perfect Dark finally came out of the shadows. Was Crystal Dynamics always attached to this project, or were they brought on at some point to help finish the game? It doesn't matter. I liked what I saw. The spy tech seemed cool, and I liked what they were doing with the first-person view a lot. We don't get takedowns like this in first person that much. What games don't really do anything with the perspective? The only 2 I can think of are Mirror's Edge and Cyberpunk. Like, I really hope this whole animation isn't click one button and it's done. It'd be so fun to aim your shots and then choose to knock out the guy you're holding. I've always been a fan of spy movies, so its vibe really meshed with me. I don't know why no one else is talking about it. Is it because we didn't get a window and like it's unlikely that this game will even come out? Okay, that's fair. Maybe if this game does well, we'll finally see other Rare IP come back. Fable also showed up after what felt like a really long break. Never been a fan of the games, but it being a legacy Xbox series that's been struggling since the start of the Xbox One gen, I'm going to follow this game. This and Perfect Dark are good experiments to see if Xbox can bring back its old franchises. Next year too, so I don't have to wait too long. I've always had a soft spot for Life is Strange. It's kind of corny, but definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. It's interesting that they're bringing back Max from the first game. I figured we would never see a main character from this series again, and I guess that happens when you only befriend narratively doomed characters. The Indiana Jones trailer was weird. It was a supercut of stuff, followed by one whole ass cutscene segment, followed by a supercut of gameplay. The pacing in it was bizarre. I trust Machine Games though to make something good, but I need to see like a solid 15 minutes of gameplay uncut. I'm down. I think it did a good job of capturing the essence of the original trilogy. I just need to make sure it's fun, and luckily it's coming out real soon. Gears finally coming back is exciting, even as someone who never really cared for the series. Microsoft is in a position where they need to prove that they can make games in their own series. This game is in the exact same boat as Fable and Perfect Dark. No date or gameplay at all is kinda rough. I get that it's your One More Thing game, and those tend to be a few years out, but it's been a long time since Gears 5, and if it's not coming out this or next year, they've clearly had some development issues. Even as someone who isn't a fan of the series, I think the idea behind behind it is super neat. It's always fun seeing the first contact we had with aliens in a sci-fi war series, especially when those tend to start like halfway through the war. If I was on the Gears team, I would be punching the air the second that I saw the Quiet Place prequel because it is the exact same premise. So yeah, Xbox's showcase, surprisingly good. Like a solid 5 games that I want to play from a show like this is massive. By far the best showcase so far. None of the other ones even came close. I still can't believe this one was the best one, dude. Still worried about the job security for anybody who works at a first-party Microsoft studio, but at least the stuff they're putting out looks good, so fingers crossed. And that was it for... I forgot Ubisoft did a thing. There was no new Rayman announced. So that was it for Summer Game Fest 2024. What do we call this week now that E3 is dead? I'm not really sure. Definitely got better as the press conferences went on, or actually became good by the end. And now after getting a good grasp of what's coming out for the rest of the year, I really gotta disagree with Jeff Keighley. The back half of the year is looking good as long as if you don't care about AAA games that cost way too much to make. It's going to be a solid low-key year, which I'm okay with. In my opinion, a year with a lot of sleeper hits is just as good as a year with a lot of massive AAA games. We also have a pretty solid lineup going into next year too. And now we wait for whenever that Nintendo Direct drops. Do you agree? Think I'm an idiot? Comment down below. Dislike the video if you really got debated by Jeff Keighley when he said Kingdom at Summer Game Fest, and subscribe for more content. Follow me on other platforms if you want. Take care, guys.